Welcome back to Dice to Pixels. We've got episode 42, and tonight we are down a Chad, but we've got two special guests.
Oh, it's my turn now?
Yeah,
okay.
you can go ahead, Dan.
I'm Dan. I'm replacing Chad. I don't know how exciting Chad is, but I'll try and match up to that to some level.
You're already doing great.
Okay, good. I'm one of the co-founders of Odyssey Dice.
I'm Jason. I'm not a co-founder, but I've been with Odyssey Dice from the beginning of production.
Probably start at the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
I think we're both curious. How did you guys
Sure.
start?
So I actually started with the only other person missing is Will. He's the other co-founder. We met through, we both went to McMaster University. And we actually, by chance, were matched up in the same D&D group through like a club. There was a club that did like a matchmaking system.
Very cool.
And when we finished, Will and I were just like talking in the car, like if there's like, we were just talking. It was in an IKEA parking lot. Like I remember like exactly where we were. And we were just like, we really like D&D. We met like a very good core, like for me, like a very important group of friends and like people that like, I think I'll have for
sure.
hopefully the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And we're like, why not try and do something in this space?
That's amazing. So how many years ago was that at this point? Give or take.
Once we launched the Kickstarter, we were doing it for like a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So it was a year and a half before we launched anything. It took us like 6 months to basically even learn how to make like any sort of dice that doesn't look completely terrible. And I remember I was at work when we launched. And like the whole day I was like shaking. I was like freaking out. Will was the one who had to actually click launch. I was like refreshing my phone.
What kind of process do you use?
Still changes. Like to this day, it still changes. Like they try different things. I try different things.
The problem is every design has different issues. So every
Right.
single design requires different sort of orders and processes.
And we have a 2-part resin. We used to do a vacuum chamber. Dusk was like one of our best sellers. I think it was in the top 3.
That was my pick. Yeah.
That one's really difficult. That's actually it's soap. It's microwave soap.
It depending on the temperature of the resin, when you're casting, it just sinks or floats. Like right now, we're dealing with that issue.
Sure. So you cool that one a little bit to get it right.
We tried a lot of complex solutions, and then it was the easiest. We just flipped the mold upside down.
We've now decided, like we bought a 3D printer, like a resin printer.
Okay.
And we're just decided we're going to make our own masters from now on.
But they were having a lot of issues getting those dice masters to us. So we placed the order, I remember, like a couple months before we launched. Yeah. And we didn't get them until a month and a half after we finished.
Isn't that always the way?
On your own before a Kickstarter, you were making like smaller batches for yourself versus now. Is there like an entirely different process with small versus larger batch making?
Yeah, so that was definitely, in my opinion, one of the biggest drawbacks of never selling before a Kickstarter. Because when we started, you're working with these molds that are like this big, one set. But then when you go to like mass production, there's just like like the issues became infinite is what it felt like.
Offerings that you have, do you regret any in particular including, or?
Yeah, if I had to say my number one, like the one we haven't started yet, I'm probably the most scared of is a withered rose. Because those roses were having a difficulty sourcing a consistent size of rose. Everything you get is a bigger, smaller. Some of them don't fit. Some of them are too small to just put one in.
That's
good.
I
think I know what our favorite dice to make are.
Yeah, we know our favorite designs.
Which one's that?
Our favorite's Tempest.
That's my second favorite, I think, in terms of look.
I think it looks great and it's pretty easy to make.
It's like when we go in and do a run, it's like 3-4 hours of casting.
Sure.
And
mask on.
Yeah, mask on, and you're in the cold, and but then the next day when you pull it out and you throwing out 200 dice because usually when there's an issue, it's consistent throughout the run.
Are you going to do more?
We want to. I don't hate it. Like, okay, that's good. It can get demoralizing. Like for example, Will and I, since we've started to now, we have not paid ourselves. Like we have stuff in the bank, but we said until the orders are out, we don't want to, right? Yeah. And so like at times that can be like, it can be like hard, right? It can be like hard to keep doing it every day, but we enjoy it, and I can see how much the process has improved.
That's it's awesome that you guys are making them locally. Like that's super great.
Yeah. We want to try. We definitely want to do more. We want to expand. We have a couple projects that we are already like working on. But the problem is because we're late, we don't want to commit too much to it, because then it feels like and you also can't really do anything with it until your Kickstarter's out the door, right? Because you don't want to start talking about your next thing and then your first one's not even done, right? But
that's always a tricky one. A lot of people don't appreciate that from a business perspective. It's like, well, you really want that lead time where it's like, we want to start focusing on the next thing.
Yeah.
But what's really nice as from the consumer side of things is the communication, because you guys have been so open about it.
I was going to say, you guys have been doing a great job of keeping everybody up to date.
We want our brand to be something that goes long term, we don't want to just do one Kickstarter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So social media is changing a lot, right? Like Twitter changed a lot recently, and
we're doing some re-strategizing.
Yeah. We're gonna do Kickstarter for the next few projects, but we're gonna try and do some small things in between to see how it works.
So these are the ones you've seen the photos of.
Yeah, these are the photo ones.
One of the things that happens with any sort of dice that you're trying to take photos of, you've got to flood light like crazy, and so it makes certain aspects of the dice stand out more, and it doesn't necessarily live up to, you'll see two pictures of the dice and they won't necessarily look the same. Those are beautiful.
So the art even on the front, so all of our dice, we wanted to be tied to a moment in our D&D campaign. So this one's actually themed around one of our players who was a Shadar-kai rogue. Okay. And she was all for the Raven Queen. So that was the inspiration for these ones actually. And all the dice on the website that have a little description, even though we think it's mostly just for us because I don't think many people read them, but that was the inspiration. So this art piece was actually from one of their favorite combat session, one of their favorite combats from the campaign.
Pushing for chunks. I don't know.
Like big ones.
Yeah.
We're working on.
I don't know if we'll get those, but I've been pushing for it.
Yeah, we'll probably end up doing chunks too, and then we have one. We call it our end game project.
Okay.
That one I have to be a little bit more secretive, but that one, I don't know. I don't want to sound too crazy, but we actually think it'll be a change. It could change the way that people will look at buying dice is the goal. We do think production in Canada is possible. It's harder, but we do think with a few more projects, it's something that we could do here.
Yeah, well, I think you're taking the right tack, trying to figure out the clever way that other people aren't doing.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming out.
No,
I think we'll stop there.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll have to do it again. It's once the Kickstarter, definitely once you're shipping and everything's good, we'll definitely do it again.